Sometimes life has a way of saying no when you were sure it would say yes. You prepared, you hoped, you gave it everything you had, but the door still closed. And in that moment, you start to wonder, why? Why would something that felt so right suddenly turn into rejection? But what if that no wasn't really rejection at all? What if it was redirection? What if life wasn't pushing you away, but actually guiding you towards something better, something deeper, something meant for you in a way you can't yet see? Rejection hurts, no doubt about it. It shakes your confidence. It can make you question your worth. But when you take a step back and look at your journey through the eyes of faith and growth, you realize that every no carries wisdom inside it. Every disappointment carries a hidden message. You are not supposed to stay here. You are meant for more. The truth is, sometimes you're being protected from something that wasn't ready for you, or that you weren't ready for yet. Maybe the job that turned you down would have crushed your spirit. Maybe the relationship that ended would have dimmed your light. Maybe that dream that failed would have kept you small when you were meant to expand. Rejection can be painful, but it can also be one of the most powerful forms of guidance if you're willing to see it that way. Think about it, every time you've been turned away, every time you felt overlooked, something inside you shifted. You learned to stand up a little taller. You learned to work a little harder. You learned what you truly wanted and what you would no longer settle for. That's not the effect of rejection. That's the power of redirection. When life closes a door, it's not always because you're unworthy, sometimes it's because that door no longer leads where you're supposed to go. Life's no can feel like a wall, but often, it's a signpost pointing you in a better direction. The path may twist, the timing may stretch, but the journey is still unfolding exactly as it should. And here's the beautiful part, when you start trusting that rejection has purpose, you stop fighting it. You stop taking it personally. You stop asking, why me? And start saying, what now? You begin to understand that rejection is not the end of your story, it's a new chapter, a better chapter, waiting to be written. So the next time you face a no, take a deep breath. Let the sting fade, then whisper to yourself, I am being redirected, not rejected. Life is not pushing you away from something good, it's pulling you towards something great. You may not see it today, but one day, when you look back, you'll realize that the rejection that broke your heart was actually the moment you were being moved into alignment with your true destiny. You didn't lose, you were led, and that makes all the difference. When things don't go as planned, it's easy to believe that life is punishing you. You prayed, you waited, you believed, and still, the outcome wasn't what you hoped for. That moment can feel heavy, as if all your effort went unnoticed, as if you were forgotten. But what if, instead of being punished, you were actually being positioned? What if the setback wasn't a sign that you did something wrong, but proof that something better is being arranged for you behind the scenes? Sometimes, when a door closes, it's not rejection, it's protection. You may not understand it now, but life sees what you cannot see. It knows the storms that lie ahead, the people who aren't meant to go with you, the situations that could hold you back from your purpose. So when life moves something or someone out of your path, it's not to harm you, it's to clear the way for where you're truly meant to be. It's in those moments of confusion and disappointment that your faith is tested. You start asking, why didn't it work out? Why me? But there's a shift that happens when you start asking a different question, what is this trying to teach me? Where is this trying to take me? That's when you start to see that being positioned sometimes means being uncomfortable. Growth doesn't always happen in places that feel good, it often happens when we're stretched, challenged, and forced to let go of what we thought we couldn't live without. You might feel like you're standing still, but you're not. You're being placed. Every delay, every detour, every disappointment is part of your divine positioning. Maybe you didn't get that job because you were meant to build your own business. Maybe that person left because your heart needed space for someone who will truly value it. Maybe that closed door is saving you from walking into a room that would have dimmed your light. Life positions you in ways that prepare you, even when it doesn't feel like it. Think about a seed planted in the dark. It looks buried, forgotten under the soil, but really, it's being positioned for growth. It's being prepared to rise. The same is true for you. The darkness isn't your defeat, it's your development. You are not being buried, you're being planted. And one day, when everything starts to fall into place, you'll look back and realize that the things that didn't work out were never supposed to. The people who left weren't meant to stay. The opportunities that passed you by weren't yours to begin with. You'll see that every disappointment was actually direction, every no was a gentle nudge toward your true path. So don't let your current position make you doubt your purpose. Even if you can't see the full picture, trust that you're being moved exactly where you need to be. You're not being punished. You're being prepared, guided, and positioned for something greater than you could ever imagine. Rejection has a way of touching the deepest part of who we are. It doesn't just sting, it shakes something inside of us. When someone tells you, no, when a dream doesn't unfold the way you imagined, it's easy to take it as a reflection of your worth. But the truth is, rejection isn't there to define you, it's there to refine you. It's not proof that you're unworthy, it's proof that you're still being shaped. Every person who has ever grown into their purpose has walked through moments of rejection. It's not the rejection itself that changes you, it's what you do with it. You can let it break you, or you can let it build you. You can let it make you bitter, or you can let it make you better. When you decide to look at rejection as a teacher rather than an enemy, you start to discover strength you never knew you had. Rejection strips away the things that no longer serve you. It reveals the parts of you that still need healing. It forces you to look inward and ask, who am I when I'm not being accepted? Who am I when no one is clapping for me? And in that quiet, uncomfortable space, you find something powerful, your true self. The self that doesn't need approval to know its value. The self that stands tall even when no one else believes in it. There's something sacred about being refined. Fire refines gold, but the fire doesn't destroy it, it removes what doesn't belong. In the same way, rejection burns away your fears, your doubts, and your need for validation. It teaches you how to depend less on others and more on your own inner strength. It shows you that your worth was never tied to what you lost, it was always rooted in who you are becoming. Maybe the door that closed wasn't rejection, maybe it was preparation. Maybe it was life saying, you're not ready yet, but you will be. Every time you rise after being rejected, you grow more resilient. You develop a deeper understanding of what truly matters. You begin to realize that you don't need everyone's approval to walk in your purpose, you just need courage to keep going. When you face rejection, remind yourself that it's not a dead end. It's a refining fire. It's polishing you, strengthening you, getting you ready for what's next. You may come out of it with some scars, but those scars will shine as reminders of your strength, not your suffering. So don't run from rejection. Let it do its work. Let it stretch you, teach you, and grow you. One day you'll look back and realize that every time you were told, no, you were being refined into the version of yourself who could finally handle the yes that was meant for you all along. There are moments in life when you feel like everything you worked for is slipping away. The door you prayed would open stays shut, the opportunity you thought was yours goes to someone else, and you're left wondering why. It feels unfair, almost cruel, to give so much of yourself and still come up empty. But what if the very thing you're calling rejection is the foundation of your next breakthrough? What if this setback isn't stopping you, but launching you? Life has a way of using rejection as fuel for transformation. The moments that push you down are often the same moments that prepare you to rise higher than you ever imagined. You might not see it now, but sometimes rejection is the universe's way of clearing your path, because what you thought you wanted isn't big enough for who you're becoming. Think about a rocket before it launches. It doesn't rise easily, it pushes through incredible pressure and resistance. The fire that bursts beneath it isn't meant to destroy it, it's what gives it the power to ascend. Rejection works the same way. It feels hot, it feels heavy, but it's not meant to burn you. It's meant to lift you. It's the fire under your feet that pushes you to move, to stretch, to grow beyond what you thought you were capable of. Every no that you hear is an invitation to find another way. Every closed door is a sign that you were meant to build your own. Rejection pushes you to think deeper, to fight harder, to create something out of nothing. It awakens the part of you that refuses to quit. And that part, the one that doesn't give up, that's the part that changes everything. There's beauty in what rejection reveals. When people walk away, you learn how strong you can be on your own. When plans fall apart, you learn how to create new ones. When your dream collapses, you realize it wasn't the dream that mattered, it was the dreamer. And that dreamer is still here, still standing, still capable of rising again. Sometimes you have to lose what you thought you needed to discover what you were truly made for. That's what rejection does. It strips away the illusion that your power comes from other people's approval. It reminds you that your purpose is not dependent on who accepts you, but on who you become after being rejected. So instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" start asking, "What is this trying to push me toward?" Because that's what rejection is, a push. A divine push that propels you into your next season, your next opportunity, your next version of greatness. You are not being pushed down, you're being launched forward. The fire that feels unbearable today will one day be the very thing that lifts you to heights you never dreamed possible. And when you finally get there, you'll realize that rejection wasn't the end of your story, it was the beginning of your rise. There's a quiet, painful moment that comes right after rejection, that space where the world feels smaller and your heart feels heavier. You start to question everything, your purpose, your worth, your dreams. It's in that stillness where most people give up. They stop believing, they stop trying, they stop hoping. But what if that's exactly where your comeback is supposed to begin? What if the place that broke you is the same place where your breakthrough is being born? Comebacks don't start when everything is easy, they begin when everything falls apart. They're born out of the ashes of disappointment, in the middle of tears and uncertainty. You see, the comeback isn't about pretending the pain didn't happen. It's about using that pain to build something stronger. It's realizing that what tried to destroy you is actually the same force that can drive you to rise higher. When life knocks you down, it's giving you a choice, stay there, or stand up. And every time you choose to rise, something inside you shifts. You discover courage that was sleeping inside you. You learn to depend less on what you lost and more on what you still have. You find strength you never knew existed. The comeback is not a single moment, it's a mindset. It's a decision to look at what hurt you and say, "This will not be the end of my story." Think of all the times you thought it was over, when you couldn't see a way forward, when you felt like you had nothing left to give. Somehow, you made it through. Somehow, you found a way. That same strength that carried you before is still inside you now, waiting to be awakened again. Every great comeback begins when you decide that rejection will not define you, but refine you. Life doesn't promise us that we won't fall, it promises us the chance to rise. The place where you were rejected might feel like the end, but it's actually the foundation of something new. Sometimes, your greatest growth begins right where your heart was broken. That pain becomes your teacher. It reminds you of what truly matters. It gives you empathy, resilience, and depth that success alone could never give you. When you look back years from now, you won't just remember the rejection. You'll remember how it shaped you, how it built you, how it forced you to rise. The moments that hurt you most will become the chapters that inspire others. Your comeback will become someone else's hope. So don't run from the place of your rejection. Stand there, face it, learn from it, and then rise again. Because the story isn't over until you say it is. Your comeback doesn't start when everything gets better, it starts when you believe you still can, even when everything seems lost. That's where the power begins. That's where strength is born. And that's where your next chapter truly starts, right in the heart of your rejection. There comes a moment in everyone's life when pain feels unbearable. The disappointment, the rejection, the heartbreak, it sits so heavy that you can almost hear your own spirit asking, "How do I move on from this?" But what if the very pain you're trying to escape is the same power that can lift you to your next level? What if the hurt isn't meant to hold you down but to push you higher? Pain, when used right, can become the most powerful energy in your life. It can transform you in ways comfort never could. You see, comfort rarely teaches us anything. It's the pain that wakes us up. It's the pain that forces us to change, to dig deep, to find a new way to rise. Every tear you've cried, every sleepless night, every time you wondered why it happened the way it did, all of it can become fuel if you choose to use it. Pain will either paralyze you or propel you, and that choice belongs to you. Turning pain into power starts with perspective. You can look at what happened to you and let it break your spirit, or you can decide to let it build your strength. You can say, "This happened to me," or you can shift and say, "This happened for me, to grow me, to prepare me, to shape me." That shift doesn't erase the hurt, but it gives it meaning. It takes something that once felt destructive and transforms it into something sacred, your personal transformation. Every powerful person you admire has a story that begins in struggle. They found strength because they had to. They turned pain into purpose because it was the only way forward. The same is true for you. Your pain can become your teacher. It can show you what you're made of. It can teach you empathy for others. It can awaken your purpose in a way that success alone never could. Sometimes pain strips away what you thought you needed, leaving you raw, exposed, uncertain. But that's where truth lives. That's where authenticity begins. Because once you've been broken, you no longer chase perfection, you chase meaning. You learn to appreciate light because you've walked through darkness. You learn to cherish joy because you've tasted loss. That's how pain turns into power, by reminding you what really matters and what you're capable of surviving. The next time you feel defeated, don't numb it, don't run from it. Sit with it, listen to it, then rise with it. Because that pain is not your enemy, it's your signal that something inside you is still fighting, still alive, still hungry for more. And one day, when you've healed, you'll look back and realize that the pain that once brought you to your knees became the foundation for your strength. It didn't destroy you, it transformed you. You'll understand that pain was never the end of your story. It was the spark that ignited your power, the fire that made you unstoppable.